The question that I am most often asked, either by my coaching clients during our sessions or in comments underneath videos, is what can I do in order to make sure that this never happens again? And that this never happens again, of course, refers to getting involved with another toxic individual or a toxic dynamic that then can leave a person reeling and having a really difficult time getting back to normal, getting back to feeling good, and so on. So yes, this question comes up a lot, and it's a question that I have been thinking about myself for many months, many years, ever since I really started talking about this topic and working with people. Because the answer to this question does evolve. And I feel like I have finally reached a place in my own self-development where I'm able to answer this question in a way that I think is as foolproof as possible. So I'm going to talk about this today. I'm going to tell you what it is that you can do to raise the guarantee that this would not happen again, that a toxic person would not enter into your life again, ever again, to its maximum. I'm going to be honest, doing this isn't easy. It's going to require a lot of work. It might even require that you change your life entirely. This is what it took for me. And I'm still working on it. So it's definitely a process. But here's the good news. Here's something I can definitely vouch for. In the 6, now going on 7 years that I've been doing this work, it's amazing how time flies. But during this time, I have been able to not only keep narcissistic people, toxic people out of my life as much as it's possible. It's very hard because these people are everywhere and they are very well camouflaged. A lot of them are. And sometimes we're forced to work with them or be with them in the same environment because of different life circumstances. So to 100% keep them out, I think is quite unrealistic. I think the point is to do 2 things. Number 1 is to spot them early, although that sometimes isn't possible until we are engaged with them on some level. And a lot of the people, myself included, who seem to very easily get into relationships and then with these kinds of people, and then have a really difficult time coming out, are people who really easily attach on an emotional level. And again, I'm certainly one of those people. Once I like someone and I feel kinship with them, even though I may not see the whole picture, I mean, it's impossible to see the whole picture right away, but I start to form an attachment to this person. And I take loss really hard. It's not easy for me to do, even though I've done it a lot in my life by now, but it doesn't make it easy. You know, having done it many times doesn't make it easy. So number 1, as I said, is spotting them. But again, that can take a while. And the advantage that these people have is that once they fool you into believing that they're great people and they're safe and it's good for you to have them in your life, by the time you realize what's really going on, you're attached. Yeah. So the idea of pulling away and leaving behind the vision, the idea of what things you could have created together, whether it's a romantic relationship or a friendship or work relationship, it's really, really hard. So the second thing comes in handy. And that is, the first one is spotting them. And the second thing is working on yourself to make your life so full that you don't really need anyone else in order to feel pretty happy and pretty fulfilled. I'm using the word pretty here deliberately because life is a wave. Things are always changing. Our moods are always shifting. Circumstances are changing. People come, people go. Jobs come, jobs go. Opportunities come and go. Everything's in a constant flux. So navigating life is extremely dynamic process. It's never static. Sometimes for a few days, I've been trying to measure this for myself. Like when I start to feel really, really happy and I feel like, oh my God, like all these elements in my life are going really well. And then I think to myself, I wonder how long it's going to last, right? Before something begins to shift. And it's usually a few days that I have a sense of relative stability in my life where everything seems to be going really well. And then inevitably, another challenge arises. Someone gets ill, or I get ill, or, a red flag shows up, or, a family member starts acting out, or I get very low energy and crash, or can be really anything, or something at work doesn't go really well, or a project falls through. I mean, you name it, right? So it's inevitable that these things will happen. But in order to ensure that your boundaries are strong, you're going to have to figure out a way to love your life, to fill it up as much as possible. And it's going to be different for everyone. It's going to be different for you and for me, for our neighbor, for, family member. It's just going to be different because we are all different and we have different needs. But our needs, for the most part, dovetail into a number of things that if we can have them filled, and I'm going to list what those are in a minute, you're just going to experience an uplift in your life, a sense of confidence and control and empowerment. It's really important to have a degree of power and control in your life. I know there's this connotation floating out there that power and control are bad because, narcissists and people who are power hungry, who have a need to control other people, use all sorts of tactics to impose their control and put it onto us, right? So I would like you to think of those two words, power and control, as neutral words, and then they can change depending on the context. We always have to widen the context of where we put these words, right? So in the context of personal self-development, I think, and building a self-sustained life, as much as possible, because I don't think as humans we're able to only be self-sustained. We need others. So to have that extra level of joy and happiness, it's wonderful if we can share it with others. So to have a nice group of friends and people we can rely on is really important. And if we can have a partner like that, that's even better. So of course, there is certain limit to which we can take this self-fulfillment, I guess, that the ability to self-reliably on your own build as fulfilled life as possible. Because if you want to extend it and make your life really truly spectacular, it's going to include other people. Okay, so but what I'm going to tell you about in a second is also like how to build your life from ground up, so that you can actually ensure that the people who come into your life are really fantastic and safe. Because that's what happened in my life, right? During the 7 years that I've been doing this work with people, but also on myself, I've minimized damage. I mean, I've had so many opportunities to let bad people in, but I didn't do it. Or I let them in for short enough time. It was still, difficult. And I talked about it in some of my videos. But the rebound was faster, the recovery was faster. I've built resilience. But one thing that I didn't fully yet do was to really finally come to the realization, come to the conclusion that there's certain elements in my life that I'm missing, and I was still hoping for this partner, for this other person to fill me up so I didn't have to do it on my own, right? So why does this work? This works, this getting fulfilled on these other levels, like in these other layers, It works because once you have a really fantastic life that you really enjoy, you're not going to have this inner ache of needing to attach to someone in order to not feel lonely, afraid, susceptible to judgment coming at you from the outside, from society. And sometimes it doesn't take somebody actually telling you that you're doing something wrong. We can do this to ourselves very easily, just through comparison. And the way the human brain works is it works on comparison. The cognitive brain, right? The young brain, it compares and contrasts. So many of us, myself included, can very easily fall into the trap of comparing your life to someone else's whom you maybe idealize, and telling yourself, you know what, my life sucks. It's not what it should be. It's not what it could be. And therefore, it's all just wrong. And you're just sitting with this nagging sensation of internal ache and emptiness. And what can fill this up the fastest is a good relationship with someone who you feel maybe has the elements that you're missing in your life. So here are the things that I would like to encourage you to do is it's basically all rooted in a coaching model. Surprise, surprise. You probably have seen the coaching wheel before. It includes different kinds of elements of your life that may need your attention. And if you tend to those things, you're going to feel pretty good about yourself. And then your susceptibility to getting into a relationship just for the sake of getting into a relationship will go down, and your filters will become much better, much stronger. Your boundaries will become much better, much stronger. So you will be much better and much stronger at filtering through people and discerning who is the right person to get involved with in your life versus who is not. All right? So here are those things. So obviously, one of the areas of life that we work on is relationships, right? This is what this channel really is all about. But for the sake of first tending to the other things, because the relationship, we're going to leave it at the end as a sort of crown jewel of our life, having that beautiful partnership. So we're going to leave it to the side. I'm going to focus on other things first. So one of which is friendships and family. Cultivating friendships, cultivating family relationships with the people who you know are good for you. You want to invest in those relationships, meaning you want to pick up the phone and actually meet up with your friend or text them, ask them how they're doing. And of course, there should be reciprocation. But a lot of the people I've noticed, again, myself included, who have been through the trauma of narcissistic abuse, what we often do is we sit in this kind of a passive state waiting for other people to come to us. And I want to warn you against that and tell you that's a mistake, because you can wait for a long, long time. And if nothing is coming, if the phone isn't ringing, you may inadvertently end up beating yourself up for it and instilling in you the belief that it's somehow your fault, you're not good enough, nobody likes you, you know where that goes, right? It's a downward spiral. So I'd like to encourage you to get active when it comes to your relationships. Share appreciation. Tell your friends and the people you really love how important they are to you. Tell them how grateful you are for them. You can actually do a gratitude exchange. I was recently listening to a fantastic podcast that talked about gratitude practice that really, really makes a difference. And it turns out it's not really writing down the things you're grateful for. They don't really move the needle that much. It turns out what does move the needle is hearing from someone who is grateful for you and what are they grateful for. So why not initiate that and be the one who does that? And then most likely, if you are dealing with someone who's healthy and empathic, they will reciprocate. You can actually write those things down to remember what people really value you for and look at that, right? So there are multiple ways to nurture your personal relationships. And my goal in this video is to inspire you to invest in them, because it's really people who make the biggest difference in our lives. And good relationships can really, really make a difference when you're feeling down, when you need that extra help, and also when you can be of support to someone else, right? So build your network of best friends, closest friends, nurture them, and spend time with them. Set up dates, to go to a park, to go grab coffee. And I'm not again talking about romantic dates. I'm just talking about, just maybe I'm using the wrong word, but you get the idea. Set up the time to spend time together. And also put yourself out there in new environments. Maybe go to see a live theater performance, or join a gym, or go to a new park. Trying new things can be also really, really good in terms of like shifting the energy of your life. Because sometimes, and really that's all it takes, 1 second is enough to make our life go in a whole different direction. So do those things and put yourself out there. Your health, your self-development, those things are also really important to invest in. Maybe you have a goal in terms of fitness. Maybe you always wanted to run a marathon. Maybe you wanted to have a certain body. And I'm not talking here about, doing things just for vanity reasons. But hey, look, if this is something that gets you going and it makes you excited, you can do that too, right? I know that in my own life, many times where I felt really down, and then jumped on the mat and started doing yoga or some kind of exercise, and I felt the effects of having taken care of my body for so many years and feeling really agile and flexible. It made me feel so good, right? And then being able to put on a nice dress and go out with a friend and feel really good about myself, that's nice. It's nice to have those things. So, and also working towards it, eating well, cooking for yourself or cooking for a friend, those things are really great, and they will make you feel so much better and help fill that void. I know when you're sitting, with yourself after a brutal relationship that ended up, with tremendous loss and left you in grief, it's not easy to get up and do a lot of things. You feel exhausted and uninspired, but sometimes a little bit goes really a long way. So that's another thing you can tend to, besides your family and your friendships, also your health, your self-development, reading a book maybe you've been thinking about for a long time, or attending a lecture. You get the idea. Taking a class at Udemy. I do that sometimes. It's really fun. Creativity is another one. Is there something that you've always wanted to try doing? Is there maybe a sculpture you wanted to try building? Or is there a story you wanted to write? Anything that involves you in an act of creation would be a really, again, fantastic thing to do and try, because it really does shift your mood. It shifts your energy, and it makes your mind think and operate differently. And that's what we're after, right? Is going from these thoughts that pull us down, make us feel worse about ourselves, to actually starting to feel like, hey, I'm actually really good at this. This feels really fun. And feeling some joy, feeling some hope that comes as a result of engaging in an act of creativity. Trying new life experiences is another one. So this dovetails with what I said a little bit earlier, which is going to new environments. For me, what often works when I feel kind of stagnant, and because I've been doing the same thing for days and days, and I fall into a bit of a routine, I notice that makes my thoughts and the way I feel about myself drop. Even though I may be accomplishing things and doing fun stuff, still it's just, I lose perspective, I guess, when I'm sitting in the same place for a long period of time. And I just recently took a trip to England for 3 days. And that filled me with so much excitement and this freshness. And I was able to look at things that I was struggling with at the time from a completely different perspective. And I came back feeling refreshed and much more willing and ready to take new action. So changing environments is really, sometimes could be a very good idea. And again, expanding on your life experiences. Sometimes just taking a different route to work could be helpful. Taking a bicycle instead of a car, or taking a train somewhere. anything, but something new to activate these new neural circuits in your brain and stimulate some dopamine, can have a chain reaction effect, can lead to new thoughts, new moods, new emotions, which then has the power to shift us in the right direction. Hobbies, right? Nurturing things maybe that you used to like, but you stopped doing because, low energy, because this person, because I'm not good enough. You get the idea. Going back to that, trying that again. You may discover something there that you've forgotten about. Jobs and career and finances, putting those three together, they're important to have a steady foundation in your life, to have a sense of confidence. I think that when our finances are in order, when we do what we like, again, when we're in a positive environment, and we feel like what we do benefits the world, it's a wonderful, wonderful feeling. Sometimes it may not be possible to have all these three things at the same time, but taking steps in that direction, even like sitting down with a pen and paper and writing down what your needs are and the things you would like to feel as you move forward in your life in this specific area, that can help shift the energy as well. And if you start to take some small action towards those things, it can also make you feel better. So if we can take these things that I just mentioned and boil them down to like minimum, what I like to do is I like to look at my life as these three areas, and out of these three spring out all the others. And those are my health, the area that I control the most, that's here, my body and my mind, right? The second thing is my relationships, the people I interact with. And the third layer is the career, the work, the things I do that then radiate out into the wider world. And if these three things are taken care of, my life becomes much more full and stable. And when my life is full and stable and I have activities on a regular basis that fill my life, then I'm not so susceptible to toxic people. Because what do they do usually? They wave their hands and they're like, come over here, I have something really exciting. But if your life is already exciting, you don't really need it. Or you may approach and you may look and you may ask questions, you may listen. But then it's so much easier to turn on your discernment and be like, this looks interesting, but no, I'm okay, thanks, and walk away, right? So this is the video I wanted to record for you today, and I wanted to follow up with a very exciting announcement, which is that with a wonderful team of friends, we're putting together a retreat for women, which is going to take place at the end of September. We're going to be releasing the dates, the actual exact dates and details soon. The retreat will take place in Sicily, in Italy, and will take about 6 days. We're looking at 6 days in order to accommodate a pretty comprehensive program, which will begin with me leading you through the process of understanding and getting in touch with your trauma, just enough to grab on that thread and begin a transformation process that will land us in a land of something called feminine power. You probably heard a lot about that because there are more and more people talking about feminine power. I really want to talk about what that essence is all about and how it relates to healing from toxic relationships, and how it relates to authenticity and spontaneity, and really understanding yourself, understanding your needs, and then being able to go into the world and communicating what your needs are so that you can form safe, happy, joyful relationships. So we're going to do about 7 interactive coaching sessions, including lectures that I will be leading. In addition to that, we're going to have daily dance and movement sessions, because I really believe in the somatic side of healing, and this is something that also helped me to feel much better, not just after the relationships, but also after I have been struggling with chronic pain for 4 years. Somatic practices were, I would say, a very large piece, a cornerstone of what's healed me from those. and have allowed me to re-regulate my nervous system. So we're going to do movement and dance. That's not something I'm going to be leading. We're going to have a special, like an expert woman who will be doing those. We will also have do personal portraits and a photo shoot in a beautiful nature with a backdrop of Mount Etna. And Mount Etna here symbolizes this feminine power, this fierceness that we will be getting in touch with. What else? We'll have a creative ceramics workshop, so we can use our hands and get into, feeling the power of creation and creativity. And we'll be in a really safe space with each other. We'll be talking about all sorts of topics and subjects, and be able to process a lot of stuff while moving, while being creative, and while talking about our experiences. What else? Since we're going to be in Italy, of course, we're going to have delicious food. Breakfast will be provided daily. We'll also have a cooking class, and we will be both having dinners on site at the villa where we'll be staying, and also we'll be going out to eat and explore the town. We'll be staying at a villa, as a private villa, with a swimming pool and plenty of space to feel right at home. And we can also, in addition to all these things, book massages that will also be available on site, one-on-one coaching sessions with me if those would be needed. There'll be plenty of things to explore in the local area, things like cafes, shopping, different restaurants, eateries to try. We could also attend a local winery, enjoy some delicious wine. There are botanical gardens. We're also looking at potentially getting a group together to have aperitif and enjoy some drinks at a terrace overlooking Mount Etna. So as you can see, lots of things to do, very full program. The idea is to together go through a process of transformation, but most importantly, relaxation after all that we've been through, so our bodies can and our minds can really chill and relax and enjoy fantastic company. This will be a program that's limited to only 10 people. We're just beginning with the promotional with promotional materials and getting a word out there. So if you're watching this video, you're probably one of the first to hear about it. I will be making additional announcements as time goes on. But for now, just wanted to leave you with that. If you're interested in attending our retreat or learning more about it, you can send an email to the organizer. The email address is below this video, or you can leave a comment below this video, and I will direct you to what to do next. But keep your eyes peeled for more announcements. And I thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it was helpful. Do let me know what was your favorite part, and I look forward to catching up with you in another film. Take care. Bye-bye.